Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. May you all be with good health and blessings of Allah. In previous lecture we had started the second chapter of our course, that is polymers used in drug delivery system. Today we will be continuing the discussion on the same chapter. We will be learning various examples of polymers used in drug delivery system in today's class. So let's start with the pharmaceutical applications of polymers. The pharmaceutical applications of polymers range from their uses as binders in the tablet formulations to viscosity and flow controlling agents in pharmaceutical liquids, suspensions and emulsions. Polymers are extensively used in film coatings to mask the unpleasant taste of the drug, to improve the stability of hydrophilic drugs, and to facilitate the handling and to modify the drug release characteristics. Apart from solid dosage forms, polymers have been found to be applicable in liquid dosage forms as rheology modifiers. They are used to control the viscosity of an aqueous solution or to stabilize suspensions, or even for the granulation step in the preparation of solid dosage forms. The major applications of polymers in current pharmaceutical field is for the controlled drug release of various substances or APIs. In the biomedical area, polymers are generally used as implants and are expected to perform the long-term services. This requires that the polymers have unique properties that are not offered by the polymers intended for general applications. In particular, the availability of polymers has allowed the pharmaceutical scientists to design and formulate controlled release dosage forms in which the release of the drug from the dosage form in part controlled by the unique physicochemical properties of the polymers. In general, we can say that the desirable polymer properties in pharmaceutical applications are film forming, that is in coatings, thickening, that is as rheology modifiers, gelling agents, most specifically in controlled release formulations, as adhesives, for example in binding of various granules, and pH dependent solubility, that is for the controlled release, and solubility in organic solvents for taste masking, and barrier properties like protection and packaging. जी जनाब, तो फार्मास्यूटिकल एप्लीकेशन पॉलीमर्स की रेंज करती हैं फ्रॉम सिंपल एप्लीकेशंस एज बाइंडर्स, जो हम टैबलेट फॉर्मुलेशन में इस्तेमाल करते हैं. इसके अलावा पॉलीमर्स विस्कोसिटी और फ्लो कंट्रोलिंग एजेंट्स के तौर पे यूज़ होते हैं लिक्विड्स में, सस्पेंशंस में, एमल्जेंस में. फिल्म कोटिंग्स में हम पॉलीमर्स को यूज़ करते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू मास्क द अनप्लेजेंट टेस्ट ऑफ द ड्रग, हाइड्रोफिलिक ड्रग्स की सॉल्युबिलिटी को इन्हेंस करने के लिए, और हैंडलिंग को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए, ताकि ड्रग रिलीज़ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स को मॉडिफाई किया जा सके. सॉलिड डोजेज फॉर्म्स के अलावा पॉलीमर्स की एप्लीकेशन लिक्विड डोजेज फॉर्म्स में एज रियोलॉजी मॉडिफायर्स हैं. जैसे अभी हमने बात की विस्कोसिटी इन्हेंसिंग एजेंट्स की. एज रियोलॉजी मॉडिफायर्स पॉलीमर्स का यूज़ विस्कोसिटी इन्हेंस करना है किसी भी एक्वस सॉल्यूशन में, और उस विस्कोसिटी इन्हेंसिंग इफ़ेक्ट से हम क्या चीज़ यूटिलाइज़ करते हैं. लाइक सस्पेंशंस में अगर हम सस्पेंशंस की विस्कोसिटी को इन्हेंस करते हैं, इसका मतलब ये है कि हम स्टेबिलिटी इन्हेंस कर रहे हैं या स्टेबिलिटी की वैल्यू को बढ़ा रहे हैं. या फिर ग्रेजुएशन के स्टेप के अंदर जब पॉलीमर्स यूज़ करते हैं तो पॉलीमर्स एक्चुअली बाइंडर्स के तौर पे यूज़ होता है सॉलिड डोजेज फॉर्म में, यानी बाइंडिंग कैपेसिटी इन्हांस करता है और ग्रैनुलेशन के स्टेप को और मज़ीद इफ़ेक्टिव बनाता है. करेंट फार्मास्यूटिकल फील्ड के अंदर पॉलीमर्स की मेजर एप्लीकेशंस हैं कंट्रोल रिलीज़ ड्रग फॉर्मुलेशन की सिंथेसिस के अंदर। पॉलीमर्स ड्रग की कंट्रोल रिलीज़ करवाने में एक इफ़ेक्टिव रोल प्ले करते हैं बिकॉज़ इनके अंदर एक स्वेलिंग प्रॉपर्टी एग्जिस्ट करती है, जैसे हम आगे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ पॉलीमर्स के अंदर पढ़ेंगे। बायोमेडिकल एरिया के अंदर पॉलीमर्स की एप्लीकेशन इम्प्लांट्स में है और इम्प्लांट्स में ये लॉन्ग टर्म ड्रग रिलीज़ प्रोवाइड करता है, यानी फॉर लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन ऑफ टाइम तक इम्प्लांट से ड्रग रिलीज़ होती रहती है। अगर हम एक जर्नल टर्म के अंदर बात करें तो पॉलीमर्स को हम यूटिलाइज़ कर सकते हैं डिज़ाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल रिलीज़ डोजेज फॉर्म में, जहाँ पर हम ड्रग की रिलीज़ को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं और इन पार्ट, और पॉलीमर की यूनिक फिजिको-केमिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स को लेते हुए हम ड्रग को डिफरेंट फॉर्मुलेशन डिज़ाइंस के अंदर डेवलप कर रहे हैं। जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव के अंदर पॉलीमर्स की जो डिज़ायरेबल प्रॉपर्टीज़ हैं उनमें जैसे अभी हमने पढ़ा कि फिल्म कोटिंग में इस्तेमाल होता है, थिकनिंग एजेंट इस्तेमाल होता है, जेलिंग के तौर पे यूज़ होता है, जेलिंग एजेंट के तौर पे ये स्पेसिफिकली कंट्रोल्ड रिलीज़ फॉर्मुलेशन में जेलिंग एजेंट के तौर पे यूज़ होता है। जहाँ पर ये बाइंडर के तौर पर इस्तेमाल हो रहा है वहाँ पर अपना एडहेसिव एक्शन शो कर रहा है। कंट्रोल रिलीज़ के अंदर ही एक और फॉर्मुलेशन सिंथेसाइज की जाती है, जैसे हम ये कहते हैं कि पीएच डिपेंडेंट सॉल्युबिलिटी हम ड्रग की अचीव करते हैं ताकि ड्रग पीएच सेंसिटिविटी शो करे और एक स्पेसिफिक पीएच रीजन के अंदर जाकर रिलीज़ हो और रिलीज़ होने के बाद वहाँ अपनी एब्जॉर्प्शन विंडो में एब्जॉर्ब हो जाए। ये सारी इफ़ेक्ट्स, ये सारे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हम पॉलीमर्स की डिफरेंट फिजिको-केमिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स से अचीव कर रहे हैं। So let's discuss the classification of polymers. Polymers can be classified as water-soluble synthetic polymers. They can be classified as cellulose-based polymers. They may be hydrocolloids, water-insoluble biodegradable polymers. Polymers may be starch-based polymers, and they are plastics and rubbers. पॉलीमर्स की डिफरेंट क्लासेस हैं। डिफरेंट क्लासेस में दो मेन क्लासेस हैं पॉलीमर्स की, दैट इज़ वाटर इंसॉल्युबल एंड वाटर सॉल्युबल। इसके अलावा पॉलीमर्स और डिफरेंट क्लासेस के अंदर एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, जैसे कि आप यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं। वाटर सॉल्युबल सिंथेटिक पॉलीमर्स होते हैं, सेल्यूलोज बेस्ड पॉलीमर्स होते हैं, हाइड्रोकोलॉइड्स हैं। हाइड्रोकोलॉइड्स की फिर डिफरेंट क्लासिफिकेशन और है, जिसे हम आगे फर्दर डिटेल डिस्कशन के अंदर पढ़ेंगे। वाटर इंसॉल्युबल बायोडिग्रेडेबल पॉलीमर्स हैं, अगेन हम बायोडिग्रेडेबल पॉलीमर्स को भी डिटेल के अंदर पढ़ेंगे। स्टार्च बेस्ड पॉलीमर्स हैं और प्लास्टिक्स एंड रबर्स हैं। नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस ईच पॉलीमर type with its examples. This table is actually showing you the polymers in pharmaceutical and biomedical applications. Here we are just discussing these polymers in terms of their application with 1 or 2 points only. We will be doing the detailed discussion on few of these polymers later on. So water soluble polymers. Water soluble polymers can be polyacrylic acids, polyethylene oxide, polyethylene glycol, polyvinyl pyrrolidine, polyvinyl alcohol, polyacrylamide, polyisopropyl acrylamide, and polycyclopropyl methacrylamide. You might have heard about some of these polymers, and you might have the knowledge about the application of these polymers. So let's discuss one by one. Polyacrylic acids are mostly used in cosmetic preparations of or cosmeceuticals, and in pharmaceuticals they are used in immobilization of cationic drugs, and they are the basis for carbopol polymers. Polyethylene oxides, they are coagulant. They show the flocculent effects, and they have very high molecular weight, up to a few millions, and they may be used as swelling agents. The third example of water soluble synthetic polymer is polyethylene glycol. Polyethylene glycol have a molecular weight of less than 10,000. In liquids, this molecular weight is used in less than 1000. It is actually available in different molecular weight grades, and as Vexus, it is available in a molecular weight of 1000, greater than 1000. When its molecular weight is less than 1000, this is in liquid form, and when its molecular weight is greater than 1000, it is available in the form of wax. It is used as a plasticizer and the base for suppositories, specifically when it is in the form of wax having a molecular weight of more than 1000. The fourth example is polyvinyl pyrrolidine, which is commonly known as PVP. Let me tell you this, that this polyethylene glycol is commonly abbreviated as PEG, and polyacrylic acid is abbreviated as PAA. Okay, this PVP is used to make betadine, that is an iodine complex of PVP, with less toxicity than iodine, and it is used in plasma replacement and tablet granulations. Polyvinyl alcohol, commonly known as PVA, it is a water-soluble polymer, and it is used in water-soluble packaging. It is used as a tablet binder and as a tablet coating material. The next example is polyacrylamide. Polyacrylamide's application is from gel electrophoresis to separate proteins based on their molecular weights, coagulant, and it is used as coagulant and absorbent. In gel electrophoresis, it is actually used as a base or as a phoretic material from which the proteins are separated. Polyisopropyl acrylamide and polycyclopropyl methacrylamide. These are thermogelling acrylamide derivatives, and the balance of hydrogen bonding and hydrophobic association changes with the temperature. The next class is of cellulose-based polymers. The examples include ethyl cellulose, carboxyethyl cellulose, hydroxyethyl and hydroxypropyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, and cellulose acetate phthalate. Ethyl cellulose is commonly known as EC. It is available in various viscosity grades. It is insoluble but dispersible in water, and it is used as aqueous coating system for sustained release applications. Carboxymethyl cellulose is commonly known as CMC. It is a super disintegrant and is an emulsion stabilizer. Hydroxyethyl and hydroxypropyl celluloses. Hydroxyethyl cellulose is abbreviated as HEC, and hydroxypropyl cellulose is abbreviated as HPC. This is soluble in water and in alcohol as well, and these two are most commonly used in tablet coatings as tablet coating polymers. Hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is another example of cellulose-based polymers. This is commonly abbreviated as HPMC. This is a binder for tablet matrix and tablet coatings, and it is a gelatin alternative as capsule material. It is also used in certain gastroretentive drug delivery system, which is a controlled drug delivery system where it acts as a polymer to enhance the release or to delay the release of the drug. Cellulose acetate phthalates are also called as CAPs or caps. They are used in enteric coating of different drugs which are not stable in the stomach pH. So let's move further. The next example is hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids have different examples, some of which are alginic acid, carrageenan, chitosan, hyaluronic acid, and pectinic acid. Aginic acid is used in oral and topical pharmaceutical products. This is also used as a thickening and suspending agent in a variety of paste, creams, and gels, as well as stabilizing agents for oil and water emulsions and binder and disintegrant. So it has various uses All of these uses are dependent upon the different concentrations of alkenic acid. You can actually go through the handbook of pharmaceutical excipients, and there you would find different percentages for different application systems. Carrageenan is another example of hydrocolloid. It is used for the modified release, and it is actually a viscosifier or viscosity enhancing agent. Phytosan is another commonly used polymer. It is used in cosmetics or cosmeceuticals and in controlled drug delivery applications. In mucoadhesive dosage forms, its application is of very much importance. It is also used in rapid release dosage forms as well. We will be discussing in detail the rapid release technology in granulation technology chapter. Hyaluronic acid is another example of hydrocolloid. It is used as a reduction of scar tissues and in different cosmeceuticals. It do have some bioactive properties, like we had discussed in previous class that certain polymers do have some bioactive properties, while other polymers are biodegradable in nature. They do not show any bioactive property. Actinic acid is used in drug delivery. Its specific role is not defined in any book. So next are water insoluble biodegradable polymers. This include lactide co-glycolide polymers. They are used for microparticle and nanoparticle for protein drug deliveries. They actually contain higher molecular protein compounds in them, so therefore they are used as the protein drug delivery systems. Starch based polymers are starch and sodium starch glycolate. Starch is a glidant, a diluent in tablets and capsules, and it is used as a disintegrating agent in tablets as well, and even in capsule. Starch is also used as a tablet binder. Sodium starch glycolate is a super disintegrant for tablets and capsules in oral drug delivery, where we can form orally disintegrating tablets from it. The next classification is of plastics and rubbers. I'm not going in detail of these classes. I'm just reading out or letting you know the names only. There are some of the plastics and rubbers which are used in specific drug deliveries. We are going to focus on only those plastics and rubbers. Polyurethane, silicones, polycarbonate. This silicon is of very much importance because it is used in implants, and we will be discussing it in detail in controlled drug delivery system. Polycarbonate, polychloroprene, polyisobutylene, polycyanoacrylate, polyvinyl acetate. This is also known as PVA, polystyrene, polypropylene, polyvinyl chloride, polyethylene, and so on and so forth. So let's discuss what are the important plastics and rubbers that are used for the controlled or rapid release drug technology. Polyurethane is an important one, which is actually used in transdermal patch backing. They are used as a backing layer for a transdermal patch because they provide soft, comfortable, and moderate moisture transmission. These polyurethanes are also used as artificial heart and vascular grafts in biomedical applications. Silicones are used as pacifiers and therapeutic devices, implants, medical grade adhesives for transdermal delivery. 2-ethyl hexyl acrylate and butyl acrylate copolymer, and acrylic acid and butyl acrylate copolymers. They are used as sensitive adhesives for transdermal patches. Both of them differ in their glass transition temperature. This one, acrylic acid and butyl acrylate polymers have higher glass transition temperatures, whereas 2-ethyl hexyl acrylate and butyl acrylate copolymers have low glass transition temperatures. Ethylene vinyl acetate and polyethylene terephthalate are used as transdermal patch backings. They are occlusive and heat sealable and translucent. So is the case with the ethylene vinyl acetate and polyethylene. They have the same properties and they are used as transdermal patch backings. So let's start the detailed discussion on one of the classes of the polymers that are cellulose-based derivatives or cellulose-based polymers. This is the structure of cellulose. Although cellulose itself is a water-insoluble polymer, its water-soluble derivatives have found extensive applications in pharmaceutical dosage forms. Methyl cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose and hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose are the most common cellulose-based polymers, with the methyl, carboxymethyl and hydroxypropyl methyl substitution respectively. In the next slide, I'll be showing you a table that would show you how the functional group substitution results in different cellulose-based polymers with different polymeric properties. Methosyl polymers, including pure methyl cellulose and hydroxypropyl substituted methyl cellulose, display thermogelling property in water. As the temperature of the solution increases, the hydrophobic group of these polymers starts to aggregate. As a result, the polymer solution will assume a cloudy appearance. The cloud point temperature for the pure methyl cellulose with no hydroxypropyl substitution is about 50 degrees Celsius. As the pure methyl groups are substituted with hydroxyl groups or hydroxypropyl groups, which have better solubility in water, the cloud point temperature shifts to higher temperatures and it ranges from 65 degrees Celsius to 85 degrees Celsius, and it forms different forms of methosyl, which are commonly known as methosyl E, F and K. So generally speaking, cloud point temperature is critically dependent on the methyl substitution. On the other hand, aqueous viscosity of the methosyl polymers is more dependent on the polymer molecular weight than its methyl or hydroxypropyl content. So let's repeat. Cellulose-based polymers. Cellulose-based polymers खुद से तो water insoluble होते हैं, लेकिन इनके water soluble derivatives pharmaceutical dosage forms में एक wide applications रखते हैं. मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज, कार्बोक्सीमिथाइल सेल्यूलोज और हाइड्रोक्सीप्रोपाइल मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज कॉमनली यूज्ड सेल्यूलोज बेस्ड पॉलीमर्स हैं. मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज के अंदर मिथाइल ग्रुप की सब्सटीट्यूशन होती है सेल्यूलोज के स्ट्रक्चर के साथ. कार्बोक्सीमिथाइल सेल्यूलोज में जिसको हम CMC कह रहे हैं, इसमें सब्सटीट्यूशन होती है कार्बोक्सीमिथाइल ग्रुप की. और इसी तरह से हाइड्रोक्सीप्रोपाइल मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज के अंदर सब्सटीट्यूशन होती है हाइड्रोक्सीप्रोपाइल और मिथाइल फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स की. फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स की सब्सटीट्यूशन डिफरेंट सेल्यूलोज बेस्ड डेरिवेटिव्स में या डिफरेंट सेल्यूलोज बेस्ड पॉलीमर्स के अंदर डिफरेंट पॉलीमेरिक प्रॉपर्टीज़ एग्जर्ट करती हैं. मीथोसिल एक एग्जांपल है पॉलीमर्स की या सेल्यूलोज बेस्ड पॉलीमर्स की. मीथोसिल के अंदर अगर प्योर मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज है और हाइड्रोक्सीप्रोपाइल सब्सटीट्यूटेड मिथाइल सेल्यूलोज है, तो मीथोसिल थर्मोजेलिंग प्रॉपर्टी एग्जिस्ट करता है. यानी जब भी मीथोसिल को आप वाटर के अंदर डालेंगे तो वो जेलिंग एजेंट में या जेल फॉर्मेशन करेगा, लेकिन उसकी जेल फॉर्मेशन डिपेंड करेगी टेम्परेचर के ऊपर. जैसे ही सॉल्यूशन का टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज़ होता है तो हाइड्रोफोबिक पार्ट पॉलीमर का एग्रीगेट करना स्टार्ट करता है, जिसके नतीजे में पॉलीमर सॉल्यूशन में एक क्लाउडी अपीयरेंस अराइज होती है. इस एक स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट पर जहाँ पर एग्रीगेशन हाइड्रोफोबिक ग्रुप्स की स्टार्ट होती है और क्लाउडी अपीयरेंस स्टार्ट होती है, इस स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट को हम कहते हैं क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर। प्योर मिथाइल सेलुलोज के अंदर जहाँ पर कोई हाइड्रोक्सी प्रोपाइल सब्सटीट्यूशन नहीं है, वहाँ पर क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस होता है। यानी जहाँ कोई भी हाइड्रोक्सी प्रोपाइल सब्सटीट्यूशन एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती मीथोसिल के अंदर, क्लाउडी अपीयरेंस आना स्टार्ट हो जाएगी और हाइड्रोफोबिक हेड ग्रुप्स पॉलीमर्स के एग्रीगेट करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस के ऊपर। लेकिन जहाँ पर मिथाइल ग्रुप्स सब्सटीट्यूटेड होते हैं विद हाइड्रोक्सी प्रोपाइल ग्रुप्स, तो वहाँ बेटर सॉल्युबिलिटी अचीव होती है वाटर में, लेकिन क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर थोड़ा हायर वैल्यूज़ तक शिफ्ट हो जाता है और ये वैल्यूज़ 60 डिग्री सेल्सियस से स्टार्ट होती हैं और 85 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक जाती हैं। इन वैल्यूज़ में जब शिफ्ट आता है तो मीथोसिल को हम डिफरेंट क्लासेस के अंदर डिवाइड करते हैं, मीथोसिल ई, एफ और के। अगर हम जनरली बात करें तो क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर मिथाइल सब्सटीट्यूशन के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। मिथाइल सब्सटीट्यूशन होगी तो क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर में शिफ्ट इंक्रीजिंग शिफ्ट आना स्टार्ट होगी। लेकिन जहाँ तक बात है एक्वस विस्कोसिटी की मीथोसिल की या मीथोसिल पॉलीमर्स की, वो डिपेंड करती है पॉलीमर के मॉलिक्यूलर वेट के ऊपर, क्लाउड पॉइंट टेम्परेचर के ऊपर नहीं बल्कि पॉलीमर के मॉलिक्यूलर वेट के ऊपर। पॉलीमर का मॉलिक्यूलर वेट कितना है, उस मॉलिक्यूलर वेट के अकॉर्डिंगली एक्वस विस्कोसिटी इफेक्ट करेगी। So in order to formulate any drug or any dosage form in which we are going to use polymers, specifically cellulose based polymers, the choice of polymer would actually depend upon the characteristics of the polymers that they are going to show, because these physicochemical characteristics will actually be responsible for the physicochemical characteristics of the drug itself. So let's see the different examples of cellulose based polymers and their characteristics. The most commonly used cellulose based polymer is cellulose methyl cellulose, that is known as MC, methyl cellulose. This is soluble in cold water only and it is commercially available as Methosil A. It swells and disperses slowly in cold water to form a colloidal dispersion. Practically it is insoluble in ethanol and saturated salt solutions and hot water. This is soluble in glacial acetic acid and display thermogelling properties. Another example is ethyl cellulose, which is known as EC. EC is water insoluble. It is used in aqueous coating systems for sustained release applications. It is an impermeable barrier and it is plasticized to compose of dibutyl sebacate and oleic acid. Commonly it is known as ethosil. Commercially available forms are ethyl cellulose, latex, and another example is carboxymethyl cellulose, which is commonly known as CMC, and this is widely used. This is a water soluble polymer. It is actually a water soluble derivative of cellulose. Variable degree of substitution is present and it is cross-linked CMC is water swellable and known as cross-carmylose sodium. It is used as tablet super disintegrant. It actually accelerates the dissolution time. Another example of cellulose derivative is hydroxyethyl cellulose, HEC. This is soluble in water and in alcohol as well. Hydroxypropyl cellulose, HPC, is water soluble at low temperature and is most commonly used in film coating applications. Hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, HPMC. This is soluble in water below 60 degrees Celsius and in organic solvents as well. HPMC is supplied as methosil such as EF and K that we had discussed in the previous slide for tablet coating. HPMC coating replaced sugar coating with the advantage of much shorter coating time, and it possesses thermogelling properties and is also used as capsule material to substitute the enamel-based gelatin. So this is all from today's class. In next topic we will be discussing about hydrocolloids in detail. For your questions and queries, use your HULMS discussion forum. Let's end the class with a note from Surah Al-An'am. He is the one who created heavens and the earth with purpose. On the day he says, "Be it," the resurrection will come to be. His word is the truth, and his is the kingdom on the day the horn shall be blown. He is the knower of the unseen and the seen. He is the wise and the all-aware. Thank you for patiently listening to this lecture. Allah Hafiz.